We're live.
Welcome, Friday. I need to go get some headphones. I feel naked here on this. Like, I'm not sure if it's working or not. But we're here in a well air-conditioned space, nice and yellow. No, don't adjust your computer screen. It is this yellow in here. But the projects have begun. The ceiling is coming out of my studio. I've got glass guys coming, contractor hired, doors moving along. We're gonna start making this happen. Got our dump trailer today. I figured, I was looking at renting dumpsters, and they're like $600 a week, and like per load. And I'm like, man, we're gonna need this for like 6 months or longer, or the whole year. Yeah. So I'm like, and then we started looking at used dump trailers, and it's only a couple of grand to buy a new one. And so we bought a new dump trailer, and I figured once we finish this, who knows, maybe I'll need the dump trailer. But then, let's say I sell it for a couple $1,000 less than what we bought it for, it'd be a worthwhile investment. So Mike went and picked up the dump trailer today, and so now we're ready to work. And we have a dump. It's only maybe 4 miles, 5 miles from here, something like that, which is perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. So ceiling tiles are out. Ceiling grid is almost out. A lot of the ductwork has been cut out, so we have two sides to work with. Next will be to take the walls down, just kind of prepare the skin, all the non-permitted stuff, get that all done, so that way when we get the doors installed, there's not any eyebrows raised that we're in mid-construction, because all the stuff we're doing isn't permit required. It really isn't even a whole lot of electrical we need to do in there, other than in the future for our air compressor and stuff. But yeah, pretty simple, just demolition, and gives us a real understanding of what is up there in the ceiling, because we're gonna have to do that to most of this building as well.
So will there be videos forthcoming on this process?
Yep.
Right,
yeah. There's gonna be 70 videos on the construction of this thing. It's gonna be sweet.
All right, let's get to a couple questions here. This one is from Mike McCullough. Matt, I'm looking to protect my RV from the sun. Is it okay to just polish and coat, or are there other steps I need to do? Also, why are people vinyl wrapping sinks and toilets?
Yeah, I don't condone wrapping anything. So, yeah, I mean, RV is no different, than a boat or a car. Gel coat is a little different material, but you just have more surface to deal with, more coating to deal with. I might be inclined to buy like a marine coating just because they sell them in bigger bottles for less money. Because if you're going to try to coat it with a car coating, you're going to rifle through a bunch of it. It's going to cost you $1,000 in coating. So I'd probably look at something like G-Tech marine coating, which is specifically designed to work on gel coat. And now it's going to be a little overkill because you're not dealing with salt and stuff like that. But hey, it might not be a bad thing to do. But no, I think the same process: decon it, then polish it, and then wipe it down with eraser or whatever, some sort of isopropyl alcohol solution, and then coat it. Would be my recommendation.
E. Jones 737 needs a recommendation from you. Garage/home gym wall-mounted fan options. Viper turbo fan apparently no longer being produced.
Yeah, they stopped doing it. So you'd want Air King Super Quiet, I believe, or Big Ass Fans has some. They're going to pay a boatload for them. But the problem with the Air Kings, they're so loud. But I think they call it Air King Quiet. It's industrial. Let's see. Yeah, that sort of thing. So they have a quiet version of the Air King wall-mounted fans that they're like $500 or $600. They're not very quiet. But the Big Ass Fan does have some now, I believe, that are wall-mounted, which would be kind of cool.
Gotcha. This is what you used to have in your garage.
Yeah, there it is. A 99 538, 30-inch, quarter horsepower, quiet oscillating wall-mounted fan. Yep.
Let's see. Do you have any advice, Robert wants to know, for dealing with scratches on interior gloss black trim?
PPF it is what I did, like in the GT3. So you'd want to just polish it with Perfect Finish and a yellow pad, and then put PPF on it.
Joseph wants to know, well, first he says, Happy Friday. Is there a middle-class alternative to DMF lighting in the house?
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, like, I'm going to do this in Michelle's house, the one down in Middleton. We're going to do Cree CR troffers. We have them in the OG store. They're like 80% as good. And they're, well, how much are they? $35 a piece?
As opposed to 180 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, a fraction of the cost, easier to install. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. You know, DMFs, oftentimes you have to screw in the little ear thingy to grab the pins or grab the spring. These are like super simple.
Trera wants to know, who or where do you get your watches from?
I've been buying them on Moda Watch Club. So it'd be great to buy a watch from, Rolex Direct, but I haven't gotten the call yet. So if you're buying them in secondary, if you buy them, I bought one on Chrono 24. I bought one direct from the dealer that I'd met from Chrono 24. And I bought 3 from the Moda Watch Group. And so 2 of them I bought, they have auctions in the Moda Watch Group on Facebook. So it's MODA Watch Group. And there's like 70, 80,000 people in there, a lot of dealers in there. And so the beauty is you don't have to pay sales tax from most of the dealers. And you're generally going to get, you don't have the fees and stuff on Chrono, so you're generally going to save a couple $1,000, on a $15,000 watch or so. So that's where I've been searching in that Facebook group. And then you just, it's a little bit dicier because, you're dealing in a Facebook group with tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. So you can do reference checks and stuff. I mean, it's a pretty safe group.
Bert says, good afternoon from Myrtle Beach. Thanks, Bert. We're not at the beach right now. Rob M. says, I'm a huge fan of yours and have bought some of your products and merch. You do great work, and I'm in particular when it comes to detailing and just doing things with life in general.
Thanks. I'll do my best. Do what I can here to try to change my world and then share that information with others, and then I found that there's some value in that.
Yo Kenny R., one of our regulars, says, good afternoon, Chris and Matt. My wife, Adrienne, is watching with me today. Happy Friday. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Neil White says, hey, Matt, it would be great if OG would sell tank tops for gym rats. Please make it happen. It's hot outside. I
don't know if I condone that. No.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a tank top.
The only thing I used to wear were like, Sixer Allen Iverson jerseys, and Kevin Garnett jersey.
You didn't wear a shirt underneath, though? You just
No. Just jacked. Yeah. Yeah, my friends still make fun of me for walking around with Allen Iverson jersey.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a yes or no, but probably a no there, Neil. Who knows, though? I think Bryce could pull off a tank top.
Bryce is in charge of that, and Bryce wears tank tops, doesn't he? Yeah.
Rob M., do you do special tours of your facilities? I come down to Florida every year.
Sure. Yeah. Not even special. Yeah. Just whenever you want. Come on over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have people visit all the time. I mean, you have to turn on your vision goggles here when you come into this place to kind of catch the vision. But I think most people have been able to see it that you guys have been touring around, right? They can see and get the gist of what we're intending.
Yeah, Rob, if you give us a heads up, just email us and we can plan a little to make it easy so you don't show up like Friday in the middle of lunch when everybody's off somewhere. Samarjit says, this is Simi slowly making additions to my 3-car garage and get it up to OG spec. Next up is the mini split system. Mm-hmm. Do you have any particular kind that you recommend or have good experience using?
Yeah, I pretty much only do Mitsubishis. I've had Carriers, I've had a Daikin, I've had Mitsubishis, and the Mitsubishis are the best. They've been doing it for 50 years, in different, other countries. That's all they do is split systems, cassette systems. So I have a dual cassette mini split I'm putting in the house down in Middleton, and then I have a Mitsubishi at my house at Darlington, we had another Mitsubishi in the yarn building that Mike's putting in his garage. So we've had a lot of them.
What's the update? Didn't you go yesterday to see the
Yeah, we went in, did the walkthrough, and when I go in there, we have to just remember that like this is a high volume track type home, where they're building 500 homes at a time, and it was good. It was I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of how they put things together. Based on what we're getting. The thing that stinks is like this house would have been $190,000, $250,000, 10 years ago. But most homes the same place and same way now. 3 times that for a home. But it was cool to walk through this. I mean, this is for those of you who aren't aware, this is Michelle's sort of investment property that we'll be using for the kids, because it's all in this compound that's really, really cool. And there's restaurants, and we're going to be building our showroom down there as well. And so the plan, and I've been toying with the idea of selling my house, the house that I'm in now, and going down to one place. But the idea would be we'd keep our house on our 3 acres and next to the garage here, and just be down there during the week, or sometimes we'll split time between the 2 places. Me splitting more time up here and them splitting more time down there. But the intent of that house is to have it for the school year, because the kids it's 45 minutes each way down there, and sometimes they have to go back and forth 4 times. So it just makes sense to be right there on site.
Couple super chats here. One from Ray Valero, $4.99. Matt, what were your thoughts on the JTR speakers? Would you put them in your home theater?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, the JTR stuff is more if you're going to do. To me, it's more if you're going to build it in. So I'm not putting JTRs in like my family room at my house where my Dyne Audios are. But if I have a dedicated room that I don't care what it looks like as much, or if I'm going to do them behind the screen, the JTR stuff, the Grimani stuff, the Ascendo stuff, all that stuff is not very pretty. It's not designed to be pretty. Genelac, JBL Synthesis, Klipsch THX, all that home theater specific stuff is about solving a problem. We're looking to make noise, make sound. The JTR stuff is really, really interesting because you're getting a significantly greater or larger amount of output for a whole lot less money than some of the other, the Ascendos and the higher end solutions that are available. So yeah, I think it's great. I might have had the JTR sub in my system. Certainly JTR subs make a lot of sense if you have the room to fit them. There's also RTJ, which is their narrower version. So they made it's like a dealer specific version. Similar drivers, similar architecture, similar amplifiers. They built in some margin and redesigned the cabinets a bit. So check out the RTJ stuff, but you are going to pay more for that. I'd be inclined to buy the RTJ stuff because it's quite a bit less deep and a little bit better fit and finish, but you're going to pay quite a bit more for that. But yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, I'm a huge fan.
Second super chat here from Improved Garage, $5 US. I reviewed the LE. I liked them, but people came out in the comments about the 5-inch stalling in corners. What are your thoughts? I assume it was designed for safety.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you want it to? It's a dual action polisher. Of course, they all stall. It stalls a whole lot less than any other 5-inch that I've ever used. The Griots, I mean, when you have a dual action gear set or gear driven system, or non-gear driven system, I should say, but when it's operating in a random orbit, it will stall. That's what they do. The Merca stalls. It does help with some protection, I guess, in tighter spots. But this is where if you're stalling the LE, we need to really work on your skills because it's pretty hard to stall. The same thing with the Milwaukee. Milwaukee doesn't stall a heck of a lot. Rupes especially the new Rupes cordless. I mean, shoot, you've got to really be on your game. Otherwise, that sucker's not doing anything. Just remember, when it stalls, it's still moving back and forth. So it's still oscillating. It's just not rotating. So you're still doing some work, just not as much. But yeah, the beauty of the LE, I think, is the balance, and so it stays much flatter, which means you have less stalling than normal. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. If you have a dual action polisher, you're gonna, and especially if you come from Porsche rotation, you're gonna have to manage that. Keep the pad flat around edges, work into edges, scoop into edges, and deal with the deficiency of any sort of dual action polisher is you have to manage the pad flatness.
Let's see. Nicholas has a question for you. It says, Matt, have you done any research on the 4RS exhausts? Mine is 2 weeks out, and I'm not sure what to buy. Dundon's exhaust sounds strange.
Yeah, I've done a little bit. I mean, Soul has a pretty awesome solution. Dundon's would be my inclination, but my guess is the Soul is going to sound better. The Dundon's is going to perform better, so you're going to get a little more output from the Dundon. The Dundon headers on the GT4, it sounded pretty terrible. You know, it made horsepower, and it's 25 horsepower or 20 horsepower or whatever, but it just didn't sound good, so I sent them back. I basically just rented them to try out, and I ended up with, over axle pipes. So I'd be inclined to try it, but it's a $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 trial. That's a pretty steep trial. But it sure seems to me that there's a guy, was a Miami Mike or something like that, where he tested out John Gatos, who's the owner and main guy for Soul. He worked with, I guess I forget what dealer they were at, or they were installing them and testing out all the different versions, and showed you different power variants. But you don't want anything race, because it's going to be obnoxious. So you want like a streetable catted system on any GT3 engine, which the GT4 has. So I'd be inclined, if you wanted a safer, less expensive option on the GT4 RS, I'd probably head down that Soul path. I'd call John, tell him what you're looking to accomplish. So if you call Soul and ask for John Gatos, tell him I sent you, and he can talk you into what you're going to want based on what you want it to sound like.
Alex says, hey, Matt, what are your thoughts on the 992 Touring compared to your previous RS?
I still think I like the previous gen more. The previous gen is more raw, especially in RS. RS has more presence. To me, the Touring doesn't replace the RS for me. It's just the timing of how I have things in life is that I'm planning to get another RS at some point. The 991.1 RS is, I've been telling you guys, is what I would like to have. The Touring is a manual, which is great. I just think that although I really like the 992 Touring, I think the 991.2 Touring is more my speed. So my perfect scenario would be 991.1 GT3 RS, so a 2016 GT3 RS in some sort of special color. Either not special, white. There was that carmine red one that I almost got. That, man, that was on Bring a Trailer for $206,000. It ended up going for man, I really, really wish I'd bought that thing.
That was nice.
And then, or something cool, something like Signal Green or Golf Blue or something interesting. So I would like to have a paint to sample .1 RS. I'd like to have a GT4 RS, which I was talking to my guys at Porsche Wilmington the other day, and Tom was telling me there's a good chance that I think I'm second in line, and they've extended the builds, so maybe they'll have one. Maybe they'll have an allocation for me. That would be really cool. If not, someday I'll have to buy one secondhand. So GT4 RS, .1 RS, and then in a perfect world, I'd have a 991.2 Touring in white. That's what I'd want. I think I'm going to do the 4RS in either red, or I'll probably chicken out and do the standard Arctic silver or whatever it's called, Arctic gray with deep blue sea or deep sea blue interior.
Blue interior?
Well, just the inserts are blue and stitching. So that's my plan. And then a 991.1 GTS, low mile manual GTS would be the car I drive around most of the time. But I don't know if you saw, I think I talked about this last week, I'm going to get a Bronco, like a crazy new Bronco built by APG, Automotive Performance Group, or what does APG stand for? Yeah, Automotive Performance Group. They call it a Pro Runner. It's going to be wild. I decided to do a four-door. Doing a four-door white, black with OG blue. So it's going to have blue, like shackles. We're going to redo the shocks from that baby blue King shocks and do it all in like black and OG blue. It's going to be, just wait, it's going to be sick.
There's some questions coming up about that.
40-inch tires on 18s.
Gotta have that.
I'm doing Innovate wheels. Yeah, it's going to be freaking awesome. I'll probably off-road it one time. I just want to drive around town in that thing. I think it's going to be sick.
Let's see. Mike Zillis, he's coming to visit us next week, actually, on Tuesday. He's one of those guys that emailed about getting a tour. He says, during the last garage giveaway, I laid in a big supply of Koshimi's GFX from OG. Mm-hmm. I checked. He bought 5 bottles. Okay. He's got 5 bottles. He liked that stuff. I could bring by a bottle or two for you if you're missing the experience. I wonder if they will offer it again.
I think, probably. I mean, maybe not that exact thing, but something maybe we had such great success with it, maybe we would do it again. I still have a bottle left that I am still holding on to.
Yeah, then Jeff W. comments later, I miss the Christmas GFX. Using regular GSF now, and the smell just isn't the same. Yeah, it is nice.
It was pretty fun, yeah.
Aaron wants to know, hey, Matt and Chris, who is next when it comes to the What's Missing in My Detailing Process video series?
I think I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
I answered all my questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently nothing was missing because all the stuff that I bought almost all of it has been put on the table here. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of bottles left, but what I do is I bought, I don't know, a couple grand worth of stuff, and I still have about half of it to go through, but I need any more advice.
I used some of that Stinky Be Gone or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It lasted maybe an hour.
Yeah, that's being generous. Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, so we're launching the OG scent, which was from our Destination OG line, which our customer Fred sort of turned me on to just use that in the car, and it works great. And then we're working on a couple of other solutions, so we'll have that soon.
Jeff W., well, you already kind of answered this. Ford F-150 Lightning, Jeff here. Mm-hmm. Wish that was going to be your next truck to replace the Raptor and Evo, but excited to see your Bronco project. What color are you considering? So you're going white?
Yep, I'm doing white. So what you do is we're going to buy a Wild Track, because you need the Sasquatch package. So either buy a Badlands or a Wild Track. There's like 57 versions of Broncos. Right?
So you have to get the Bronco and then send it to them, and then they do all the stuff.
They're going to source it for me.
Okay.
Yep. And so, by the way, my E36 is sold. Ooh. So I'm going to do an exit interview in full correction protection for the next owner, who you'll probably recognize someday. So a friend of mine bought it. And we're gonna actually drop it off to him when we head up toward Helen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's calling me this afternoon. We'll kind of work out the particulars. But I asked him, hey, I do need to do a maintenance correction on it, just get it all up to date. Of course, he's not going to say no to that. So full Matt Mormon treatment. Yep. So get it. I just got it back from the stereo, getting all dials, and all the stereo's great. The window the window motor had broken, just replaced that. So it's, he'll have continued maintenance going on, but it's really well sorted. I feel complete. I'm $128,000 into it.
So you sold it for 60?
A little bit more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I sold it for 80 grand. I was going to list it for 90. Feel like price it to move,
Right.
Because think about if anybody buys, let's say he buys and this is why I bought it. If you buy an E36, if you want an E36, first of all, you're going to have to try to find a special cool color one. And so you're going to pay premium for that. So you're going to pay 50 or 60 base for that. Maybe a little bit more depending on how many miles it has. And then you're going to have to do the steering rack, power steering system, cooling system, and then other coils and plugs and all that kind of stuff. So you've got 15 grand worth of work there. You got another 10 grand in cosmetic stuff to do if you can find some of the stuff. So you have to try to source door cards. You have to source new dash components, like you have to do the glove box. You probably have to end up doing the headliner. You have to then do probably the seats are generally going to have to be refinished as well. So I think I've got 20 G's into that interior, maybe a little bit more, because I did the Speed 5, Recaro Speed 5's refinished. Then, I have a $20,000 stereo, a $15,000 stereo in the darn thing. And then suspension, finding wheels, tires, all the mounting, balancing, all the work, the alignments, all that kind of stuff. It's just never ending. And so you're going to spend 60, 70 on a car of that level. And then you're going to spend another 100 getting it done. Plus all the time and shipping it around is going to take you a year or so to do. So it's a pretty sweet deal. It's a 50% off deal for anybody who was planning to do an E36 at this level. You could buy an E36 and just rock it in its current and maybe do a couple of modifications, but mine is pretty darn well sorted. The last thing that, he may consider, I'm going to talk to him tonight, to do like a full, like restorative, amazing paint job was one of the things I was considering doing. Mechanically, it's extremely sound. The interior is beautiful. The paint is an 8 out of 10, so I would want to make it a 10 out of 10.
What's that color called?
Technoviolet.
All right, so yeah, there will be a video. A couple people are asking here if there's going to be a accompanying video for...
Yeah, so my plan is sell the E36. I'm going to order the Bronco, sell the Raptor, and then the Bronco will become the kind of family flex vehicle, especially since we're down at Middleton most of the time. Michelle will be driving the Rivian everywhere. I just finally got the bed cover for the Rivian. We'll actually probably be driving the golf cart. I'm going to buy the golf cart. So, and then if I love the Bronco, I'd probably sell the Evo as well. And so I'll have my GT3, I'll have the E92, and I'll have the Bronco. The Amiras will be coming at some point, and so just kind of ratcheting back and working my way toward, I'm sure I'll get the call at some point for the GT4 RS, and so just kind of working my way toward the ultimate collection that I want to have, which would be what I'd mentioned, all those Porsches, a couple of BMWs, and then have some sort of tester car, giveaway type car that I normally have. If the Bronco goes well, like I think, I'd like to do a giveaway. So I'd like to build this Bronco, do a giveaway on that, and build while I'm building another one. We're actually flying out there in August to meet with George, and so my buddy Charles and I'll shoot some basic videos, touring, sharing with you the process. I do need to get the footage from George. We sat down and talked through what my build's going to look like. And so I'm going to make a video on that soon.
Deagle456 says, when is the Mike and Mike dual pressure washing setup video?
I don't know.
They're both uploaded now. I saw this morning.
So
I
think, is? Yeah. Did he get that done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And there is coffee making in the video as well.
All right.
So I think this weekend is when that'll happen, Deagle.
Okay.
Spencer, our buddy up in the Dakotas, says, Matt, I've worn the G-Technic hat for about 5 years. Love it.
Yeah.
Went to Roar and loved it more. Now I'm coating with C6, and the Hydro Light prosumer grade coating is as good as G-Technic's with more gloss. Highly, highly recommend trying it on the Bronco.
Interesting. It's such a dumb name.
Roar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Austin says, Matt, you need to do a reset/reminder of OG drying aid. I finally went through my gallon of bead maker, and for the last handful of years, I thought OG drying aid wouldn't be that much different. I was wrong.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, bead maker's good too. You know, it's not there's some deficiency in bead maker, and I think they fixed some of the static issues from what I understand. I never had that issue, but we're in a humidity heavy area, so. Yeah, it's really good. And I've just tested 3 or 4 other drying aids that my buddies recommended, and not even close.
Progression Decibel says, what's the ETA on Pro Slat wall offerings? Watched a video they had at a booth at Barrett Jackson show, and their stuff is top-notch and innovative. Maybe I need to win the next garage giveaway.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do some of it in the Helen garage, and we'll be doing tons of it in the Villages market, I'm sure. You know me, I'm not a slat wall kind of guy. I just think I don't like stuff on my walls, but sometimes most of us are kind of stuck with, if you don't have a shed or something where you can put your yard equipment or ladders and things like that, I think it's a viable solution. And the Pro Slat wall is quite a bit better than some of the other brands that I've seen. It's available now. The guys, they understand it. They know how to build it for you, design it for you, can give you some input. So if you hit up the design tab on the Obsessed Garage site, you can submit an application. For us to help you with slat wall won't cost you anything, but they can help you figure it out. It's it's something that I understand is a necessary evil. We're gonna, like I said, the main reason why I'm interested in it now is because I'm going to be doing more of a, somebody had mentioned like the middle class garage. We're going to be doing much more retiree heavy garages here. And then, I mean, it's something that's a necessary thing to have.
Nicholas wants an update on what's in the current watch collection.
Let's see. So I have my original Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean that I bought from when I was in Merrill Lynch, when I became the resident director. When I got that job, I bought that watch. I had a tag, something or other. I don't remember what I had. I guess I sold that tag. Yeah, I think I sold it to another advisor or something like that, and I had the one watch. I really didn't like it because it's too big. It's just kind of uncomfortable. So I would wear it all the time, but just didn't really like wearing it. So that's why I really wasn't into watches. And so then here recently, I've been talking about it, thinking about it. So the first one I bought was the Starbucks, which is the green bezel, black face, current version. And that's a 39 millimeter face. And it just felt so comfortable. I like it. So I bought the Starbucks. And then my second one was just the black dial, the regular standard Submariner with the date. So black face date. So I bought that watch. Love that thing. And then I bought the Batman. So I found one. So these are the ones I've been buying on auction on the Moda Group. You kind of get a sort of a sweet deal on it. Nowhere near as sweet as MSRP, but save thousands of dollars by catching the right auction and seeing what they bid to, and then looking at what they sell on Chrono. I take it back. I think I bought the Batman on Chrono. Yeah. So I bought the Starbucks on Chrono. I bought the blackface from the guy that I'd met from Chrono 24 direct, and then I bought the Batman on Chrono 24, I believe. And then let's see, what other ones do I have? I had those 3 for a while.
Pepsi? Did you say Pepsi?
Yeah, and then recently I sold all my crap. Sold all the yarn building stuff. I sold off a bunch of stuff, bunch of tools, bunch of things like that. And so I bought 2 of them. I bought the root beer, which I got a sweet deal. The root beer I got a reasonable deal on, and then I wasn't in the market for another one, but I got a sweet deal. There was no one bidding, and so I bought the Pepsi. All current, all new. And so I have 5 Rolexes, I bought a Tudor, so I have a Tudor Pelagos, and then I have the Omega. So I've got 7 watches, and I have an Apple Watch, 8 watches. But the Planet Ocean, I lost my shirt on, but these Rolexes, I should just kind of storing value.
Angelo wants to know, hey Matt, do you like fishing?
That's funny. You should ask that. No, I don't. But I've got a new thing I've been thinking a lot about. So Ryan is 13.
Okay.
And all he wants to do is fish. I mean, he's playing football and basketball, but his passion is clearly fishing.
Okay.
He has the rod holder in his room. He's got 12 rods, and all different different values. And I think he's fishing right now, so he's there's little lakes around the area. And so I started thinking about kind of putting some pressure on him and teaching him how to build a marketing type business, teaching him how to make videos, how to sort of vlog. And I'm sort of torn on this. Do I have him do this? Do I have him chase passion now, or is it too early? But he's not like me, right? So he's a lot more like Michelle, a lot more sort of easygoing, a lot more social. He's antisocial, social. He likes his buddies. But he doesn't in a group of people. He's not going to be that social person. Mm-hmm. But he's always got a buddy. He doesn't want to do anything alone. Where I was always much more introverted, but fine being by myself. So I've been thinking about this. There's right down the street from our house, because one of the problems we're always running into is getting in trouble going to these lakes and sneaking in and trying to fish on the retention ponds and stuff like that. And so there's, as I on my way to the gym, the Lake Griffin, there's a bunch of there's modular homes, trailers and double wides and things like that. And so I started looking. I've been looking on Zillow. I found one. It's $125,000. It's a modular, basically a double wide, we used to call them, but it's a modular home. It's probably 30 years old, so it would require a little bit of modernization. It has they redid the kitchen. It has granite countertops and stuff in it. You probably can't insure that house. It's probably not. You generally can't get insurance in Florida and most of these mobile properties unless you're going to pay a fortune for it, $10,000, $12,000 a year. So I probably wouldn't have it insured. But it has a 45-foot dock on a canal out to a Dead River, that connects to Lake Griffin. So I started talking to him about it. I said, what if, and I would have a requirement for him, hey, if I invested in this property, I bought this house, a couple of things we could do with it. One, you could use it all the time, and you could start vlogging and start a YouTube channel, start an Instagram brand, and then just start making content. But you have to commit to it, and we'd have to, commit to a certain number of videos, which I'd give him some sort of credit for, toward the rent. And eventually, if he started making money, either whether it was brand deals or it was, through Google AdSense, if he started to develop a following, who knows? Maybe he doesn't have the talent to do it. But if he started to develop a following, then he would have to pay a percentage toward the investment, toward the property. And then the other thing I started thinking, well, this could be a way for I could get him in front of the village's fishing clubs, and we could make it a fish camp, where you could host and do guided tours. So all the stuff he'd learn in going out and fishing, learn the best spots, learn the best, what to use on the lake, and we could Airbnb the place as a fish camp. We could and just get a really great boat, which then he could utilize the boat. And then you probably have to get a couple of boats because it has enough for probably 4 boats on the dock on this canal. And then eventually, maybe get sponsored in boats and stuff like that, figure that out. And then, again, presenting because I'm sure there's tons of fishermen in the villages, go and present to the clubs and teach them how to speak in public. And and if he becomes if he gets a decent following, he could become sort of, again, build a business. And then his buddies could become tour guides as well. And so we could have a combination of the fish camp could be booked in Airbnb as a rental, and then also because there's more slips, on this dock, you could also run guided tours at the same time. So it could become a pretty lucrative business, and then that could be his income throughout high school. And shoot, if he really became passionate about it, he could probably make a couple $100,000 a year as a kid, and just something I've been thinking about doing. Now, I'd have to be pretty heavily involved in the beginning to get them started, but then when they're 16, 17, if he has 3 or 4 buddies and he learns how to employ people, learns how to hire his buddies, it could be a cool idea. So I've been thinking about that lately.
And this is good. So Mike comments, let the kid live a little and just fish, LOL. No, that'd be cool to teach him all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What's up, Matt? How about them Nova Knicks? Says Rob.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. So, 2018 Villanova championship, right now you got 4 players from that championship team on the same team. That's pretty sick. Because they just traded away, they bet the farm and traded for Mikal Bridges. That's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited for that. I watched every one of their playoff games. I hate that. I don't hate the Knicks. Just like the one team. The Pacers and Knicks are 2 teams, probably because I was a Bulls fan as a kid, as we all were, right? I just don't like them. I don't like the Pistons, the Pacers, or the Knicks.
That's good. Let's see. You've answered this before, but Rob M wants to know, can you do a special on what good dash cams are on the market? What would you recommend?
Thanks. I'm not the guy for that. Vortex Radar is the guy for dash cams. Yeah, I don't have a dash cam. I've never had a dash cam.
It's not your thing.
Yeah, I'm just not really into where we live. It's not really a necessary thing.
Jack Toller wants to know, he says, I'm in the market for a new office chair. Any recommendations?
Yeah, the ones we're sitting on, I think they're the best. Steel case. Forget which model it is, but the steel case chairs are my favorite. The standard is the Herman Miller Aeron, is cool. The one that intrigues me, what's that one? There was a big Kickstarter. You see him talking about it on social media all the time, that they invested a bunch of money in comfort or something, but that might be it. X chair or something, or neutral maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day that Herman Miller Aeron that I've now had it for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. That's the industry standard.
Yeah. And I'm a big boy, and I plop down in it a lot, and it's held up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but these are pretty nice. I do like these.
Yeah. I think these look better. I've never loved the Herman Miller. I had one in wealth management for 10 years or something like that. I always just thought they were kind of blah, just okay.
Philippe, our buddy in Canada, says, hello, everyone, from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
I've been thinking about it. I'm going to be in Helen, though. They're having a fan casting call, where you can go up there and be on one of the episodes. In the
background?
Yeah. Dang.
Oh, man.
Could you imagine seeing me sitting back there with a cowboy hat on? It would be awesome.
Tip the hat to the camera every chance you got.
I guarantee you we would move the needle on views of that episode, though. I bet everybody looking for Matt. I could probably get him some viewers.
Man, I'm surprised you didn't reschedule the Helen trip. Then.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
You can. I was thinking about it.
That's fun.
What happens if this is the last season?
That's your last chance. Progression Decibel says he's reminded by the tire dressing bottle in front of us. Do we have to buff off the dressing after applying it, or can we leave it on the tire for a glossier finish? Will it sling if it's unbuffed?
Yeah, it won't sling either way, and yes to both of your comments there. Yeah, you can leave it on and it's a little shinier. You can put a second layer on and make it a little shinier. I like to leave it on and then wipe it off like the next morning. It's my favorite version.
Yeah, and the reason this is here, so Tommy asked us to share this. This is one of the few products where the price has gone down recently, so that's why we're talking about it. So it was $50 for 32 ounces. Now it's $45.
Oh,
part of that is due to back in the day when there was that silicone shortage issue, and they jacked up the price like by 3 or 4x.
Yep.
It's come back down a little since then. So
that $45 is going to last you the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's
that 32 ounces is going to last forever. I don't think I've used 32 ounces yet, and I've got used it on 7 or 8 cars for the last however long.
Steve chimes in here. He says, good afternoon. I went on a tour at OG in the spring. Had a great time. Thanks for the hospitality. Nice. Glad you came by, Steve.
The tour is going to get more sophisticated over the years. You're going to have to go down to the, look at multiple houses and go check out the design studios. It's going to be cool.
Aaron wants to know, have you tried or tested anything new recently?
I've been playing with that CarPro Clarify Phobic. I've, used all kinds of different, products over the last 3 or 4 months here, but nothing that blew me away other than that.
You got that Merca stuff to play with now, right?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be very good. Yeah.
We did also get an AR. I don't know if you saw it over there. Not one kind of a prototype they're working on.
Yep. I got to play with that thing. We're targeting 3 gallons a minute on a dedicated 20 amp circuit. So 1,000 psi, 3 gallons a minute.
Obsessed Mobile Detailing says, did you watch the Milwaukee pipeline event yesterday? The new M12 stubby looks pretty legit at double the torque.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I read through. They sent me the pipeline marketing slick a couple of weeks ago, and I saw those stubbies. I'm like, it's more work to swap out the stubbies. Yeah, they're pretty sweet. But that was the one. Those are the only things that really caught my eye when I read through the brochure.
Patrick says, hey, Matt, I just purchased my first lot. I found a house plan that me and the wife really like.
Mm-hmm.
The garage is 23 by 23.
Okay.
Is that going to be big enough? I would eventually get it to OG spec a little later, but I want to make sure it's enough room to grow into. We don't own any cars as my employer provides them at no cost, but looking into buying a project car after we build.
Yeah, that's a pretty good size. 23 inches of depth is nice. 23 inches of width will give you the ability to kind of open the car doors nicely. That's a pretty good size for a 2-car garage. If you the best money you can spend, I think, is if you can do a 3rd car add-on. Usually it's $10,000 or $15,000 more. If you can figure out a way to come up with that 3rd bay, even if it's not really big, will come in amazingly handy. It'll keep you from having to park one of the cars outside when you get your project car.
And Patrick, tell us where you work. His employer provides him a car at no cost. That's interesting. Take notes over there. Hey, Matt, silly question, but what's the best soap to use in a bucket that won't leave soap scum and easy on CSL and XOV5?
I think that you just, GSF, Reset, all the soaps that we have don't leave a bunch of junk behind.
Angelo wants to know, do you prefer the manual or the DCT trans and the E92 M3?
Oh, DCT's for girls. Manual only. Get out of here. Yeah, that's not a good question.
Rick says, hey, Matt, I have an AR630 TSS.
Okay.
Got a 50-foot Cobra Jet hose.
Yep.
And an SGS 28 gun.
Okay.
What am I missing? I've been thinking about a different hose. Any suggestions?
Your hose is fine. Unless you have the gray Cobra, gray or black Cobra Jet, that's not the smooth jacket. Those are not really anything special, the gray and the black one. But yeah, even if you have the gray or black one, I think that's a fine hose. What would make your user experience all that much better is if you invested in the Mosmatic Quick Disconnects. So if you did the Mosmatic Quick Disconnect package, and if you're using the regular plastic tips, if you swap to version 2, the OG spec wand and nozzles, that would also be a significant upgrade. So I'd probably mess with your hose last, if ever. And just, the SGS gun is great. Just switch to the Swiss fittings, and your user experience will increase quite a bit. It'll cost you a couple $100, but you'll have a really great experience with that.
All right, Patrick, let us know where he works. It makes sense. He's a Mazda USA engineer.
Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty cool. Super Chat, Spencer, $4.99. Matt, we've seen you test and go through pressure washers on the 110 to 120 volt systems.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get another video /series where you test the 220, 240 pressure washers?
I've done quite a few of them. There aren't nearly as many in that space, and I think you can pretty much sign up for me. I'm signing up for either a Krenzler or an AR in that higher voltage version pressure washer.
David says, can you use OG tire dressing on plastics?
It's not great. I would coat it, use XO on plastics. It's not a great option. Or I think Pearl is a little better on plastic, or even hyper dressing. But yeah, I mean it can, but it doesn't work very well.
Let's see. Hey Matt, how you doing? What whole house water filter do you use? It's from Miami FX Mafia.
If I have a choice, right now I have a Culligan. That's just what was on the house when I got it. But Kinetico, the Kinetico's most sophisticated system, because it meters, monitors or meters how much water you're using, and then it uses, then it will, flush with salt. It'll flush your resin in your tank. So you don't need like a giant salt. So like my a Culligan, it's just timed. Doesn't matter how much water I've used. It's always going to flush the system, flush with salt, the magnesium, the calcium stuff out of your resin tank to prolong the tank's usability or usable time. And so it flushes the tank with salt every day or every other day, whatever the timer says to do. Whereas the Kinetico does it based on how much water you're using. So the less water you use, the less salt you need. And so you only need like a 1 gallon or 1 pound tank of salt, or basically 1 bag tank of salt. So I guess it's probably like a 40-pound tank versus a big giant, 30-gallon drum. So I've just had really good success. I've had several of the Kinetico systems. They're like $5,000, and it really works well. It's still a marketing company first, water treatment company second, but out of all of them, they're the easiest to work with I've experienced.
David R. has a new X3 in Alpine White. Do you still recommend Powerlock in 845 if I don't want to use a coating?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but there's probably better stuff out there. I mean, Polish Angel Master Sealant was another product that a lot of the OG faithful really liked. I never used it. That's another thing to consider. There's a lot of stuff out now that you could consider using. I haven't done Ultralock. I don't know if Cullinite plays well with that, but Jescar has Ultralock Plus, which is an upgrade to Powerlock. But I haven't played with stuff over the years to see if there's something I'd like a lot better.
And then he says, what happens, or does it matter, if the whole car is in XPEL?
I don't know that that's going to play very well with the XPEL. It's probably the top coat on the XPEL is probably going to reject both Powerlock and Cullinite. So, because there's a coating-like top coat on that PPF. I do know that CSL, I do know that Halo, I do know that XO will all bond to it, the CSU, but I don't know about others.
Brad wants to know, do Canadians get free shipping if they are inside the Hex Plus?
Not until we get to Canada, which should be fourth quarter this year, but not right now.
Dumb question from Angelo, but what does drying aid do, and what's the process? Do you spray it on a fully wet car still?
So you could spray it on a fully wet car if you wanted to. The original purpose of the reason why I started using drying aid, I learned it from Richard Griot that you would spray wax as a lubricant on your wet car. It helps the water run off and helps you get an extra layer of protection, right? So you spray it on, and then you're wiping the water off, and hopefully there's a little bit of extra lubrication, as well as having the added benefit, some extra protection. And so what I generally do is I'm now using a leaf blower, so we blow the car off, blow most of the water off, but there's still some water left. And so I'm looking for a little bit of lubrication for my microfiber towel and a little bit of extra sort of a sacrificial layer to top on my protection layer. And then it's just, it generally keeps the car feeling slicker, hopefully helps with contamination buildup in the future, and then, possibly adds to the longevity of the coating in general. And so that's what I use it for.
Nicholas says, I love OG Drying Aid. Have you tried TEC 582 Technician's Choice? It's my backup, and it works well, too.
I haven't. No, but lots of people have suggested that. That's another stupid name.
CJ wants to know, hey, Matt, how is carnivore going? Have you seen Josh Bridges' video on his eating? He talks about how carnivore helps his mental clarity. He does eat a lot of berries and honey for carbs, though.
Yeah, I haven't been doing great. It's more a carnivore plus. Well, I haven't been doing poorly, but I haven't been like in ketosis hardcore carnivore, which is probably smart. Like last night, I got the grill ready. I ate a bunch of pistachios while I was preparing my steak, and then I was making a really big, like probably a 28 ounce monster. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat this whole thing, and I'm going to ruin it. No one else was there. It's just me. And so I'm like, I don't want to feed this $60 steak to the dog. And so I had some organic pasta, like some, I don't know, some sort of organic ravioli. And so I cooked that up and ate that. I ate something else too. Oh, and I had organic, what is that, David's brand or whatever, the one at Publix that has like the picture of the dude. I think it's called David's. And so I had a bagel as well. So I carved up. But I did an annihilation workout.
Killer Dave's Killer,
yeah. Dave's Killer bread.
Yeah.
So I had an everything bagel with some Kerrygold butter. Mm. So I ate that while the pasta was getting made. So I went heavy carb last night. And I've had some yogurt and honey lately, quite a bit of that, and I've been carnivore plus, which is again probably the way to be.
Christopher Dede wants to know, how are we looking on the Bilt-Hamber shipment timing? I pulled up the tracking here to look at the boat. We have boat tracking here.
All right.
So it is sitting just north of the Netherlands at the moment, the boat with our container on it.
It's the slowest boat in history?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't really track its path.
Is our ETA still?
It's the second week in July.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
July
12th was
I thought it was the first week in July.
It was.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, they're hanging out there.
Sorry, everybody.
It up. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, this whole ship tracking.
Just we now know how to do it, but we had the 20-foot container show up after we waited a week, and then there's supposed to be a 40-foot container, and then it's just the logistics companies, until you develop a relationship with one, it's just a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
Donnie says he has it licked now, though.
Yeah. Angelo says, I can always appreciate the detailed and personal answers to our questions. Count me in on watching your son's fishing channel. Let's see here. How far are you guys from the Gulf? Take Matt offshore one time, and he'll be hooked. Have you ever been offshore?
I have, and I almost died of sickness.
Did you get sick?
Yeah, sick as crap.
They were like an hour from each coast.
Yeah, I'm not really into fishing. I don't mind it, but it's just not really my thing. I don't know how to use a bait caster. It always frickin' bunches. Like, I don't know how to feather it. You bunch up the darn line. But he's using that's how you know if somebody knows how to fish or not. Like, I can do what's the open reel regular style. I can rock that, but not a bait caster.
Akash says, hey Matt, I'm looking to pick up some P21S.
Okay. But
I'm wondering, is it safe to use on painted exhaust tips, or is it only for bare metal?
No, it works. I've used it on. It's not ideal, but it will work and generally won't mess it up.
George/Jorge says, do CSL and EXO V5 expire after they're opened? Do they have a shelf life, or are the bottles just single use and you got to toss out what you don't use?
They all have a date on them, and I think they have like a recommended 6 months or something like that. I just have a simple rule. Just look at the bottle. If you see anything solid in it, then it's toast. If it's still clear, it's good to go. That's always been my philosophy on it.
Dustin says, this may have been answered already. It hasn't yet. I'll catch the first part of the pod once the stream is over. is the giveaway still happening this summer? I thought it was June, but maybe it's actually July.
No, it's July 15th through August 31st. It's going to be really epic. We have all kinds of cool products, different tchotchkes and neat stuff, and entry, starter tool package with Stall Villa and Koken, and it's going to be freaking epic. So we're going to really make a strong push this summer for it. So it'll run 45 days, and then we'll draw the winner. The requisite is the winner has to have a garage. Otherwise, we go on to the next person. So we can't build a garage for you for $80,000. So you got to have a garage, and I forget what the other requisites were, but I think that's as simple as that.
Yeah, we've got some timing on. You have a certain date that we need to start it by.
Right.
That sort of thing.
But like with the other guy, I gave him some leeway because it's gonna be a fun project for Charlie.
Speed Break Aviation says, I'm planning to buy some Pro Slat PVC slat wall soon.
Yep.
Will OG be selling this?
Yep.
I could get it from Pro Slat's website, but if OG sells it, I'd probably buy it there.
Yeah, appreciate that. It really doesn't benefit you one way or the other, other than it helps us. So I'd love it if you'd help us out.
Barbecue Jones, our buddy Gary out in Arizona, says, my OG vacuum arrives today.
Cool.
I got in stainless shelves a few weeks ago. I'm getting really close to being dialed in. How far apart should I mount the shelves? I bought 3.
I mount them 17 inches apart. So 17 inches, top to bottom. I found that that's the best distance in order to pull, like say that bottle or a press-all bottle can fit and comfortably without having to bang it, on the shelf above it.
Jonathan wants to know, will you be reviewing the Ego vacuum?
No, it's terrible. Yeah, I used it, and in 10 seconds, it just doesn't have any suction. It's really bad. It's the only Ego product I've ever used that's not good. So don't buy it.
Super chat from Caleb Wallace, $20.
Nice.
I'm a little confused by the wording, but maybe you can help me here.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, I posted on the Facebook my findings on PIR with my unit for the long-awaited touchless drop.
Okay.
Was wondering if you saw that.
I did not.
Question. Okay. Also, if someone wanted to make a wash and talk, would that still be posted on Hex Focus? I'm confused by that.
No. Yeah, the Hex Focus was something that employees were going to do. I didn't sign off on it, but it was their idea, so I let them do it. I don't think so. I don't think anybody cares. So that's what we found out, is that no one watched them, or very few people watched them, so no one cared about Chris washing his car. So no offense, Chris.
None taken.
But yeah, so we found that there's but we made 10, 12 videos, and no one wanted to watch them.
Max wants to know, do you have any thoughts on Lithium's trim cubes?
The Lithium brand is not. I met those guys, and they're not. It's just let's just say I didn't connect with them. I connect with subject matter experts, if that makes sense. See, I'm turning over a new leaf here and saying things much nicer, right? See? So you guys go back to Maddie, 2016, and fill in the words, and that's what I just said there. No. The answer is no to anything from that.
No thoughts on them.
Yeah, lots of thoughts, but no,
nothing
nice
to say.
No.
Patrick Brown 09. Happy Friday, Matt and Chris from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Will there be an option to pick up orders at Mantis when OG Canada is up and running? I'd pass by them every day going to work, so I figured I'd ask.
Sure. I think they'd be down for that. Yeah. I know I'm down for that, so
they'd enjoy it.
I'm sure they'd be down for it.
Andres says, hey, Matt, I'm in the market for a new home vacuum.
Okay.
What is the OG spec vacuum? Is there an OG solution for a central vac that will serve both the garage and the house?
Yeah, I mean, you would, modern day, you would do the same kind of thing. We actually have a few options which would function as a whole home central vac. It's just hard to do that unless you're going to do it from scratch, unless you're going to plumb it in when you're building the house. The best vacuums are, I think, Miele, but they stopped making a general upright, so you have to have the canister. And unless you have a really diligent family whoever's going to use the vacuum or a diligent cleaning person. I find that the drag along, the pull along little canister or non-canister vacs, or non-uprights, the canister vacs. I guess it's not a canister. What do they call it? It's like the one where you tow behind you and you smack it into the wall and you jack up your baseboards. So Miele, but those give you superior suction. They give you superior performance, superior filtration. But I want an upright, and yeah, they do call it a canister. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the classic C1 turbo. Those are the superior vacuums. But if you have somebody who's not very diligent using it, or if you're not very diligent, you're gonna be smacking it off everything. Your baseboard's gonna be all jacked up. So the standard, the one to get is the Sebo, Sebo. It's a German vacuum. I forget which one I have. The Sebo. Chris will pull it up here. It's that hideous red one. Not that red one. That red one.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Can't believe you bought that.
Yeah, the Felix Premium.
Oh, man.
And they only come in, you can get it at least in blue. So I have the blue version.
Okay.
It's freaking hideous. Yeah, Sebo Felix Premium, because it's great on hardwood or solid floors and carpet. Yep.
Oh man.
But it doesn't have a lot of attachments. It doesn't have a lot of functionality. It's really not great, but it performs really well. But there's just there's a real opportunity for some of the Miele was hands down the best, but they stopped making them. And it's like $700, $800, so you better be prepared. Oryx, not really any good anymore. Shark is junk. Shark is like buying Flexzilla or like buying other highly marketed stuff.
Joseph wants to know, what do you think the pricing will be for the OG DI setup?
I'm not sure. So we're going to have multiple versions.
Hey, let me ask this real quick because this will lead you that. Will it only be a kit with reel and shelves, or can we just buy the DI setup?
Oh, no, for sure. You'll be able to buy just the tank. Like if you just want to, you don't care, you got a closet or somewhere, you just put the ugly tank on the wall. Our tank is so much better than any other tank that exists. It's different. All the other ones you see are from a company called Clack. K-L-A. Or is it C? C-L-A. Yeah, C-L-A-C-K. They make the ones you see with the red knobs, and and ours has the same red knobs, but they're all those red knobs are made by Clack. So we removed those knobs and have gone to our own valve system, which we had produced. So the system, the tanks, the base tank, and then the filter, the way that you pull it out and you change the resin is far superior to anything else. The performance is probably the same. I mean, it's just get the water in and get the water out. But the delivery of ours is on the bottom of the tank, and so the inlet out is on the bottom of the tank. I don't know if that's positive or negative, but we're going to have a just bare tank version. We're going to have a single tank in a cabinet version, and then we'll have the option where you can bolt on the back piece with the shelves and the putting the hose reel and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have every possible scenario covered, where you can order the a la carte base parts all the way through to quad cabinets with multiple pressure washers and DI plus RO plus carbon, so we're going to have all different solutions. So step one is to have just the base single pressure washer with a single tank, or just a single tank in a cabinet. And then we're gonna have solutions for those of you who have CRs and Grenzlos and you want to swap it out. The price, I'm not 100% sure yet. So one of the real positives, I thought about it when we were replacing mine. I had I had the CR, which is $420 or whatever on the wall. I had all the Prevost piping. What's a Prevost piping kit? Like $600.
$600.
So I had the Prevost piping kit. I removed, say, 2/3 of the Prevost piping kit, which was, say, $500 worth of piping and stuff. So we were able to remove almost $1,000 worth of equipment from the main package. And my guess is the single tank is probably going to be somewhere in that ballpark, $1,100, $1,000, $900, something like that, with the shelf and mount and everything. Maybe $1,500. I'm not really sure yet because we haven't gotten our final production stuff done yet. So I want it to be as little as possible. So basically, we're going to take the price and add a margin to it, and the more we produce, the more you guys buy, the lower our price is, and so the better the retail price can be. What I think I'm going to do. So our next step is I'm going to test it in my garage. I'm playing with the 2-tank solution in my garage and the two on the dual pressure washer setup. We've devised a testing solution which we're going to start probably next week. I think we have it scheduled in the next week or so. We're going to share with you all that. Where we decided we're going to test it here. So we're going to test single tank, dual tank. On the single tank, we're going to test high-end mixed resin, a mixed bed of resin, a lower end or medium end. We wouldn't do low end, but a medium end to see if there's any difference in how much water we can pass through a higher quality versus medium quality resin. See if there's any real benefit. If it's $50 more and it's for half a cubic feet and it gets us 10 gallons more, obviously that's not worth it. But if it's $50 more and it gets us 200 gallons more, probably worth it. I doubt that's going to be the case. We're going to test it to answer that question. Then we're going to run, because in our single tank, we have the option to have a separator where we can do cation first, anion first, or vice versa. Normally you would do, I believe cation is the cheaper bed, so we do cation first and then anion. And then and we're going to test the two combinations of that, see if there's any benefit. Can we pass more water through it? Then we're going to do 2-tank solution where we do cation on one and anion on the other, and then we'll do again all the different combinations of having multiple beds, and then we'll do 3 tanks. I think the general standard is to do cation into anion into a mixed bed is what a lot of aquariums and those guys that are really interested in the quality of their water. So what I'm interested in, zero TDS is zero TDS on the car. I'm interested in how can I pass more water through it and not have to replace the resin. How can I replace resin less? What's going to be the most economical version of this? And I'm sure that there's many companies that have answered this question, but none in the car world. And so we have a specific tank, a specific system, and so I'm going to test it out and figure it out.
Frederick, or maybe Friedrich, says, greetings from Sweden. Keep up the good work. Is there any reasonable way of getting stuff shipped to Sweden from the store, or will it be super expensive?
I mean, the reasonable way is you buy quite a few things, if you spend some money, and then we ship it, either, I would choose the DHL option, which is probably a little more expensive, or, UPS International or UPS Worldwide. But, I wouldn't say it's reasonable, but it's doable.
Yeah, so I did some homework for you, Frederick. Mm-hmm. So we had a guy named Rasmus from Vänersborg, Sweden. He ordered recently.
Okay.
So his order was 7,860 Swedish krona. Mm-hmm. Shipping was 1,795 Swedish krona, so about 23% is what it comes out to be, which is less than the tax he had to pay, because the tax in Sweden is evidently pretty large.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this guy bought, what is that? It's a total of $1,200 worth of stuff. So about 25% or maybe close to that in shipping costs.
Yeah, so 50% in taxes and shipping.
Yeah.
We're hoping in the next year to be in Europe, in the EU somewhere, so hopefully we can make that a lot better for you.
But yes, we do ship to Sweden. We do that fairly often. CSDP says, how are the Pressall bottles compared to, say, the IK Multi TR1?
First of all, the IK bottle is stupid. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, it's just not good. And then the IKs have a Canyon-like, I don't know if it's made by Canyon, I think it is, but the IK is a Canyon-like sprayer, if it's not Canyon, which is really thin, really uncomfortable in your hand. It works. They're 25-cent sprayer. Like this Tolco here is a 40-cent sprayer. That bottle with sprayer is what, like $1.80 or something is the cost of it, maybe less. So IK bottle is of high quality. It's got like that plastic thing they stick on the side of it, and it's just too bulky, and it's just like the Quasar. It's like too many pieces to a bottle. I just don't. Again, it's not bad. It's just my preference. I just don't like how it looks. I don't like how heavy it is. I don't like how bulky it is. I want somebody desperately to solve this, just so that I can put the stuff in the bottle and call it a day. But I even went back again for probably the 11th or 12th time just the other day, and so, well, maybe I'm wrong. I've said this to myself a dozen times on the Quasars. And so I bought another batch of a dozen Quasar and threw them all away. They've ended up on this table within 12. I don't know, why did I buy so many of them? Why didn't I just buy one? And because I was convinced, I'm like, well, maybe I'm tired. I was just fed up with Pressall and the process, and we're so close. We're just fed up with the process because I really want to get the OG detailing curated line with matching labels and matching everything out and available. We're going to do it with the Tolco setup here, which is the standard, which has the dilution ratio on the side. Mm-hmm. We're going to spice up our logo, our logos that go on it. But my vision is to call CarPro and all these different companies and P&S and have them send me totes, and we're going to put it in our own bottle with our own label so we can have a matching line of products. And then, my friend Pan wants to do something with me. Tavarish wants to do something with me, and I'm sure there's some others. All of my friends in the industry, I&D Distribution, ECS Tuning, FCP Euro. There's lots of companies, Dundon Motorsports. There's lots of companies that I've, great friendships, long-term friendships with, that they don't do detailing. They trust me, and so I'm going to build a system for them. And so I don't want to make my own detailing line. I want to take the curated products that we already have and put it in a matching bottle. So I wish someone would solve this with a bottle. But the Quasars ain't it. It's just not good. Atomization is pretty good, but the sprayer is, again, it's a 25-cent sprayer. The base bottle is nice, but it's too bulky and heavy and goofy. I don't like it. So Pressall, we finally got the fluorination done, and then they sent us a bottle and it was freaking puke yellow. So then we go back to the drawing board and new fluorination. The bottles need to be fluorinated so that labels stick properly and that the product stays in the darn bottle and doesn't leach through it. So fluorination has an extra cost. And, of course, you've seen the issues where we had to deal with. We wanted a silicone tube so that we can have a 360 sprayer. We wanted to have the better seals so that products like Brakebuster's still going to nuke it eventually, but can we get a couple of years out of it at least with a product like Brakebuster? And then, of course, the tips, we've transitioned to brass and stainless. So we're like really close. And the Pressall is just a better experience.
Frankie M wants to know, what are your thoughts on Koshimi's compounds and polishes?
I'm sure they're great. I'm sure there's some good ones. I know a lot of guys like them, but I just don't feel the need to use anything else but what I'm using. I don't want to I don't want to spend the time to get the same result that I'm already getting.
Brady says, hey, Matt, coating my car isn't in my budget at the moment. Mm-hmm. Do you have any content on practices for washing an uncoated vehicle?
It's the same process. It's just a little bit harder to dry, so I wouldn't do anything differently. I'd still use the same process.
Joseph wants to know, do you have any thoughts on Ethos or Ethos products, seeing them all over the detailing YouTubers' channels?
Yeah, Tim does a good job of marketing. Ethos is another B&B product. So he works, from what I understand, he works very closely with the team at B&B. I don't know if he works with Chris there or not, but Shine Supply, Jeremy, similar. So the Shine Supply line is a B&B line as well, where what they're looking for is to work with the B&B team. Now, Tim has I think a pretty high volume PPF and detailing shop. I don't know if he does a lot. He used to. I don't know if he still does as much now that the brand has grown. But he understands how the internet works, and so he's done a good job of sending out, stuff. I've tried some of the stuff. I haven't been as interested. Adams, Ethos, Jay Leno, Shine Supply. There's a lot of similarities there, but the B&B recipe list is gigantic, right? So there's not a ton of overlap, but there's going to be some. Our stuff is made. The tire dressings are made by B&B. The slipstream or the drying aid is made by B&B. And so, I don't know Tim personally. We've messaged a few back and forth. What's his name? Tim. I forget what his last name is. I think it's Tim. I hope I'm not picking the wrong name. But he's been in our group for a number of years and been a solid. Yeah, Tim Coates. He's the owner. And so Tim is a long-term detailer. And so he decided to make his own line of products and do testing and trial and error. And B&B is the company that he's using. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's some decent stuff, just like Jeremy's line. And I've tried some of the stuff, but generally speaking, I think it's very difficult, and this is why I've never done this. It would be much more profitable for me to just create the Obsessed Garage detailing line and talk everybody into using it. But if I'm truly a curator of products, I just can't do it. Can't do that. So my plan has always been to, if I was going to create a detailing line, it really wouldn't be my detailing line. It'd just be all the stuff in a matching bottle, all the stuff that we're normally using from brands all over the place, and then I'll talk them into letting me do it, or let me buy it in quantity and put it in a bottle that matches, or have them put it in a bottle that matches and have them send it to me, even better.
M. Minig says, "Hey Matt, I'm doing laundry while I'm watching this. Has there ever been a Tide pod style of car shampoo? Fill the bucket and throw in a pot or two."
Yeah, Griot's has it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is someone mentioned that, and Armor All just.
Oh boy, of course.
They came out with it as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd want that, but.
Let's see here. From Progression Decibel, might be blasphemy, but Matt, what is your opinion if a car coating of any kind is an absolute necessity for a daily driver? I do wash and use drying aid every 3 weeks. I do not see any noticeable detriment to my paint. Have a Tesla Model Y that hasn't been recoated since it left the dealership.
What's the question?
What's your opinion if a car coating is an absolute necessity for a daily driver?
Yeah, I mean, it makes your life easier. I don't know that it's a necessity. You could just abuse your car, right, and just not worry about it, But yeah, I mean, if you care about your car, you want it to look decent, and when you do wash it every 3 weeks, you want it to be like a decent experience. I mean, a wax isn't going to hold up at all to that, so a coating is a necessity. So I agree with that. But I'm kind of in that boat too. I'm beating the crap out of my Evo, and then I'll just recoat it every couple of years and start over.
Bart R. wants to know, have you thought about doing a detailing training in person? A wash and talk with me, maybe in a group setting. Have a few cars set up and go from one to the next, from decon, polishing, washing, coating, etc.
I've done quite a bit of that stuff here and there. Like I helped out, trained the guys from Enthusiast Auto Group. I trained, remember John's Garage in Atlanta. I trained his guy, to use the OG process. Early on, I showed dozens of people on video or just off camera. How to do. Just here's what I do. We did some Rupes trainings. I thought that I was headed down the training path. I've also done quite a few live demos for like some of the car clubs here locally. So I think that I'll probably do some of that here and there. It's really draining to me because even though I yap it up on camera a lot here, I tend to be pretty introverted. I'd rather be by. I don't know that I'm selectively extroverted, but I'd rather be by myself. Part of the reason I come in here, usually I go to the gym at 8:30 or so, and I like to come in here at like 10 or 11 and then stay here till 7 or 8. I really enjoy the time where I'm here from say 4:30 or 5 o'clock till 7 when I get the place to myself. it's no knock on anybody else. It's just I just want to be by myself. Especially I'm in my little empire here. I just want to sit and look over the kingdom, and assess the situation. I actually really enjoyed for a little while when everybody was over here and I was over in the other building, just for a little bit. But it's something that I thought I was going to be like a trainer and head down that path, but I realized that I really don't love that. I like it, but I don't love it. I'm pretty okay at it. Like I can be pretty decent at it, but it's not like what my ultimate talent is. We're still trying to figure out what that talent is. But
David wants to know, do you have any thoughts or experience on Ketra lighting?
I hate Ketra. Like I really don't like it at all. John did Ketra with his homework system in the garage. We spent quite a bit of time with it. I just find it to be really poor lighting because it's color blended. Right there, I'm not sure. I might be speaking out of turn here, but I don't think that they sell Ketra in a single fixed color. But the lights are like $300 and something a piece. They require sophisticated control. I just don't like it. I think it's beyond the point of comfortable for money wise for me. To spend $300-400 per light. I mean, the Lutron or the DMF makes my butt pucker. And I don't want to change it to frickin' pink, and I don't want anybody around me with the option to change it to pink or purple or yellow or some other stupid color. It is intriguing to do, what does they call it, the circadian rhythm or whatever of the sun, where they can change as the sun sets and rises to mimic that. But that color blending, when you start blending two different LEDs to create a color, it does it all poorly. Not like Ketra is going to be as good as it gets, or maybe Cree. I forget what Cree's version of it. Cree Flex can be color shifting, but they have another one that's really, really ultra high end. I just don't like them. So, no.
Nicholas says, I think you may hear about that 4RS soon. Allocation trickling out today, I hear.
What?
About your GT3 or GT4 RS?
How does he know?
I don't know.
Is he at the dealership?
Tell us, Nicholas, what's your inside information?
Or maybe he's just talking in general that
maybe he's got buddies over today.
Yeah. Scott
Taylor wants to know, any update on the Press-All tips and the various glass coatings you've been testing?
All the glass coatings, I still have Glacco to use at Pan, and everybody seems to love, but I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. We'll try that. Glacco is from a Japanese company, what's it called? Soft 99. I really like the application of the Diamond Protec. I need to put it on another car. The armor stuff I didn't like. I found it to be smeary on the Rivian. I've got to try H2Go again. So I've got some work to do. So I don't have any answers for you. But right now, I've fallen back in love with Wolf's because now you can throw some Clarify on it, CarPro Phobic Clarify Phobic, and it kind of tops it, and it works great.
What about Press-All tips? What's the latest?
I think we're good to go. So we're just finalizing. Again, every time we deal with anybody German, it's like one question takes 3 weeks. So everything is takes 3 weeks. This is why it's taken me 6 years to get to the point that I'm at. So I'm ready to do this every minute, like in minutes. But so I don't have a freaking answer for you. But the tips are good. They look good. They function well. They're going to work. It's going to be great. Now I just have to figure out what that means.
Bring your wood screws. We haven't heard from him in a while. Love the roll of microfibers. I hate the dispenser box as it is absolutely useless. Are we still expecting a better solution for this?
The box, I'm thinking you take it out of the box. I just like the box. It looks pretty, But you're right. When you have it in the box, it's kind of a terrible, thing. I don't know if I don't have any solution, but The solution for us is to buy our $780 towel roll, paper towel holder that we're going to have coming out here and do that.
Bryce is working on that. It's pretty sweet, but yeah, it's not cheap. Obsessed Mobile Detailing. I think it would help the DI system if you found a legit water quality kit and had people test their water first.
Yep.
Then they would know which setup of the DI system.
You're on to me. The other thing, to finish the story, I kind of got sidetracked on that. What I'm probably going to do is pick 10 people in 10 different areas that have 10 different types of water, and we're going to sell it to them at cost and ask them to run the same test that I'm going to run. And so we can compile some data. If somebody has like 600 TDS, what can we expect? What's our recommendation? And we're going to try to just compile data over time.
Hey fellas, greetings from Norway.
Nice.
Wow. Recommendations for coilovers on my F30 318D X Drive. Not looking to spend a whole monthly salary though.
Yeah, I'm not your guy for that. Olin's. But that's going to be $1,800. Yeah, Olin's or AST. AST Moton, but AST would be, I'm sure AST has something for it. I would call Sean at Precision Sport Industries, PSI. He's the oracle on all that stuff and can get you whatever you need.
James Strother has a question for you. I need some shelves about 12 inches wide to fit my studio monitors.
Okay.
Can you recommend a brand or where to look?
Shelves for that. And I only really have stainless. You know what I'd always liked? I had this made. If you get galvanized railing and you get the escutcheon that you can screw it into so you can kind of make your own shelf. And you get yourself a big hunk of wood and put it on those suits. So you'd buy 2 posts with 2 caps and 2 escutcheons. You mount the escutcheons to the studs,
That's a great word,
to the wall, and then you screw in the galvanized pipe and then put the pipe cap on it, paint them black or brown or whatever the heck you want, and then put the, build a little shelf. Go find yourself a reclaimed piece of wood somewhere, stain it, and put it on there. I'm not doing that, but I've paid people to do that for me before. There might be somebody on like Etsy or something is where I would start searching for that kind of thing, because shelves are kind of a weird thing to find.
All right, our own Bryce chimed in here with regard to the coilovers. He said ST Suspension, sister company of KW, or KW is good coilovers for not breaking the bank.
Yeah, so that's another solid option.
A couple more questions here. Chris wants to know, do you like 3500K or 3000K for white interiors? Looking to use Cree retrofits and want to buy matching temp Cree bulbs.
If you're primarily white and like non-earth tones, I like 3500 Kelvin. If you have a lot of browns and and like a lot of tan flooring, then I would do 3000. Like the Helen house, I did 3000. My house here in Florida is a lot of gray and sterile looking white. I did 3500.
Yuri says the new Pressol sprayer tips are stainless. I think they will be attached and screwed onto plastic.
Yes. And that could be problematic, but think about like the foam cannon is metal on plastic. It can work as long as you take some care. They'll either be stainless or brass. So we're looking at the possibility of doing both. Brass is like 1/4 the cost of stainless, so we may have both for people.
Pointy wants to know any plans for expanding to the UK. Isn't anything close to you here?
Yes. Next year.
Last question here probably. I think you like this one from Devin. I have a mobile detailing company. I use a lot of Adams and Griot's products. How do you feel about those? And what would be a better substitute to help me improve my quality?
Yeah, I mean, those are great starting points. At least you're not starting with Chemical Guys or Turtle Wax or something more, just more mainstream and profit driven. So, Griot's, Adams both have great lines of products. We just did a video series or did several videos. I toured Griot's. Griot's, manufactures all their own products. Adams is now owned by, was it Raycon or something like that? But Adams bought B&B Blending. B&B Blending was their provider of almost all their chemicals in the past, and then they bought B&B Blending and then packaged that together to put a bigger deal together with a bigger chemical manufacturer. So now they have quite a bit of resources to continue to hopefully innovate and develop solutions. So I don't think you can go wrong with Adams. To put it in perspective, there isn't a single Adams product currently that I'm using, but I've used many in the past. So they're just not my preference at the moment. There are a few Griot's products, like Griot's interior cleaner. If I had to choose just one, I'd probably choose Griot's over Adams. But for many years, I chose Adams over Griot's. Griot's kind of only got left behind, and so this is kind of a moving target. I don't think you're going wrong there. I think on the polishing front, Griot's polishes are far superior to Adams. If you want my recommendation, go to obsessgarage.com and look at each section. Look at car washing, look at wheel cleaning. Those are the products that I like the most. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all for everybody, but it's a pretty good starting point if you were looking at sort of branching out and trying some other things. If I was a mobile detailer, I would be using what I'm talking about, what I have in the store. But that may or may not be practical to you.
All right, one more question here from Detailing Garage. You got me with this one. This is a good one. Mostly because I don't know if you have an answer here. Do you have any particular brand of sunglasses that you like? You don't really wear sunglasses, do you?
I don't. I buy them. I like, obviously, Oakley's on the sports side of things. Like if what are they? Fly wires, I think, are the ones where the lens is open on the bottom for cycling and playing volleyball and stuff like that. It's not fly wire. It's something with an F maybe. Not the Hydra types, no. But the flak something or other, flak jackets or something like that. I bought some. Shoot, what do I have? I had some. Jackets, yeah, flak jackets. Yeah, I have some Wiley X. I have some. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. Clearly, I don't even know the names of brands. But because all my cars are tinted, I just don't do sunglasses. I only do sunglasses every once in a while. I don't know why. Just not really into it.
Not your thing.
You'd think I would being in Florida. Mm-hmm. I just don't like carrying them around. And then I don't want to get them messed up. And so, yeah, I have probably 8 or 9 pairs, and I just don't really use them. They're all lined up in my drawer and Hayfula, looking fancy, all clean.
They're well organized.
Yeah, for non-use.
All right, well, thank you all for the questions. We appreciate it. And thank you for supporting us, as always. We'll see you next time.
Yep, later.
Pit Vipers. No.